Hi, it's the Chappiness guy. Welcome to today's episode of Vestibular Talks. Today's very special guest is Steve, also known in social media as Steve on the Vertigo. Steve is one man trying to make a difference, trying to raise awareness about Meniere's disease, vestibular disorders, and chronic illnesses. Steve takes on challenges that many people that are quote unquote healthy and normal won't dare to take. And Steve does them all for the sole purpose of raising awareness and funds so there can be more research and more potential treatments to these very debilitating vestibular conditions. Please, let's join Steve on this second episode. He's been in the show before, where he's going to talk to us about his most recent adventure, a potential new book coming up, and much more. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Find your choppiness, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy and excited to have Steve from On the Vertigo back in the show. How are you, Steve?
Oh, I'm doing good, Johan. It's a pleasure to be here with you again, and I've been waiting to come back on your show since the first one.
Yeah, it's likewise. I've been wanting to talk to you since you have accomplished so much in such a short period of time. You got a book, you did another challenging trip to Alcatraz. We did the live Rebalance Chronicles. So there's so much that I'd like to talk to you about. So let's start with recapping a little bit about who you are and what your health condition is.
Okay, I'm Steve, and I founded On the Vertigo, and I did it to advocate for people with Meniere's disease, and now it's turning into more vestibular advocating. You know, my world has grown a lot bigger in the last year, but 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease. If you're familiar with my story, you know all this, but for those who have never seen me or heard me, um, 10 years ago, my life just changed. It just turned upside down. I was working hard. I was playing music and, you know, raising a family and, you know, I'm married and in a split second, it just went completely sideways on me. And it was a battle. It was a struggle to figure it out. And it was confusing and it was doctor hopping and it was chasing cures and it was tons of time on the internet trying to figure out what's going on. And it was scary. It was it was just a really scary time of my life. And now I'm 10 years in and I've kind of learned to accept my condition, accept that it's going to be my life. And so now the last couple of years, I've just been trying to see what my new normal looks like and what I can do with what I have. And trying to
Yeah.
do positive stuff's important to me.
Yes, Steve, and you kept saying the word scary, scary, and scary indeed it is because although I don't have many years, I've been diagnosed with vestibular migraines. Some of
Mm.
our symptoms are very
Very-
alike. So, what are the two or three symptoms that you could say are the scariest of these conditions?
I think the most annoying one is the ringing in my ear, tinnitus.
Okay.
That's just a constant companion, and that's the one that probably I would say it's the most maddening.
Yeah.
Use that word
Yeah.
because you know sometimes I literally think I'm going to go crazy if I have to keep listening to this, and so I have to distract myself. So you know that's not the worst as far as physically feeling sick, but it's definitely the most annoying
Yes.
for me. Um, just constant dizziness, you know, constant nausea. That would probably be my second pick because just always dizzy. Like this morning, I was dizzy, got out of bed dizzy. I walked my dog around the park and came back in and threw up for 15 minutes because I was just so disoriented, you know, and I just get so nauseated, you know, it's like being car sick. So
Mhm.
That's the second one. And then the third one, obviously, is the big daddy, which is vertigo attacks. And that is just, when it comes to being scared, that is what makes me anxious. When's the next one? Is it going to hit here? Is it going to hit in bed? Is it going to hit at the grocery store? Is it going to hit on my bike trip? Is it, that's the probably the anxiety is worse than the actual attacks because it's like the attacks, you just want to die. But looking forward to the next one and when's it going to happen, I think, is what makes me have the most difficult time.
You're right, Steve, and you're right. It's unpredictable. Like it's not like there is a pattern that the vertigo attacks follow. It's not like, oh, every 30 minutes you'll get one or every day and a half. Like it just suddenly happens whether you are driving at the grocery store or you're with your family watching TV. Like it could trigger at any time. So it's extremely debilitating. And all of the symptoms that you mentioned, not only the physical aspect of it, but like you said, it makes you feel like you're going crazy because it's such a mental battle that you have inside, constantly dealing with. Okay, you're trying to ignore the ringing in your ears so you don't go crazy. You're trying to ignore the anxiety and the fact that you're dizzy because you feel like you're off balance all the time, and you're trying to ignore the fact that a vertigo attack is so debilitating that at times you don't know if the next attack is going to be an attack that is going to last forever, or is going to last for many hours, or is going to last for many days, which in many years it could last for days. Yes. So how do you cope mentally
Oh,
with this beast?
I I think the hardest, how do I cope with it is, I do breathing. I try to keep myself calm. I distract myself a lot with social media, TV, reading, just, it's hard for me. I used to meditate a lot and I don't meditate as much anymore, but it's because it's just, I can't sit that long in my own world.
Space. Yeah.
Um, so coping is just hoping I get up tomorrow and I can do some, I pick one or two things that I can do each day and try to, if it's, unload the dishwasher or vacuuming the floor or, running to the store, I can usually do one thing a day, and mentally it helps me cope and it helps me be like, okay, I accomplished that. I did a load of laundry today. So now I can give myself grace to just rest because, as men, we're doers, we're fixers, we want to be doing things that matter. And so
Yes.
for me, what used to matter is playing concerts in front of people with music or going to work and bringing home a paycheck and, big things that made me feel important. Now, making the bed, I feel like I'm a rock star if I can just get that done. So I think I've just lowered my expectations of what I can actually do and just try to do things that will help me mentally feel like I accomplished something that, today.
Yeah, Stephen, the most unfortunate part about these conditions is that many people don't understand. They don't understand. There is a difference between a terminal illness and a chronic illness. I was discussing this with someone the other day, and they said a terminal illness puts a span of time on when your life is going to expire. Let's say that you have a terminal cancer, usually tell you have 2 to 3 months to live, and then it's up to you to make the best out of those 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible to have that experience, but you kind of know, okay, like what am I gonna do to make it worth it for those 2 or 3 months? With a chronic illness like we have, it's a constant torture because it won't kill us. Like it won't, even though God forbid, but sometimes we wish it will kill us because it's so debilitating. But it's like a constant, how would I put this? Like a constant torture that will just won't let you live a normal life, won't let you live a happy life, won't let you do the things that you want to do, or let you experience the things that you want to experience. And that is why raising awareness like this is so important, because we let other people know that we're doing our best to our capacities to be able to live a quote unquote normal life. So hoping that those people that are watching this will get understanding and compassion, no pity, because I know you, Stephen. You're not a guy that looks for pity. You're not a guy that looks for people to feel sorry for you. You're actually the opposite. You're a guy that wants to inspire others. You're a guy that wants to take on challenges. You're a guy that wants to show others that they are still able to accomplish amazing things regardless of their situation. So raising awareness like this is extremely important. And that comes to the fact that you already did a first challenge. Tell us a little bit about your first trip on the bicycle. Why did you decide to do it, and the book that you wrote about it?
Well, in a nutshell, I didn't. It was just kind of something I wanted to do for myself. I wanted to challenge myself, and it's like you. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself because my brain's getting all foggy. But I just wanted to just see if I could do it. So I asked my brother Dave if he would help me do this bike ride, and we thought we'd post it on social media and try to raise some funds for awareness and research. And to be honest, I thought that it would be a catastrophe. I thought I would probably ride about 10 blocks and be like, okay, dumb idea. We're just going to bag this. But people on social media were like, oh, I'm watching you each day to see how you're doing with your ride. And it inspired me to keep going. And then I ended up accomplishing a 1,400-mile ride from Denver to Columbus, Ohio. And by the time it was done, we had so many people that were excited and inspired that I just felt like I needed to write a memoir about it, that, so that people could see what they didn't see during the ride. They saw snippets of social media clips, but what really happened behind the scenes. And that's pretty much what the book does. It fills in all those gaps. And with the book, it was great to have my brother co-author because it gave an outsider's perspective. And it's like you said, people don't understand. It's hard for us to describe how horrible it is to live like this. So
Yes.
my brother's input in the book was fantastic because it allowed people to see an outsider's perspective, watching someone suffer every day and watching someone try to do something that's very, very difficult to do. And that's the whole thing about the awareness, is that people it's just so hard. Even my closest loved ones, I wish they could just be in my head for one day and just see how I feel. And, not for the sympathy and not for that, but just to be like, this is the reality of it. It's like you said, we're trying to do the best we can with what we have right now. And that's not good enough for some people, or some people just don't get it, or they don't want to get it. I've lost a lot of relationships because people are just, hey, this guy's just too much to do. It's just too hard to be around this guy, or he doesn't want to, he cancels all the time. And, it's the same typical vestibular stuff that we get, but I want everybody else to get it too. So writing the book was my way of saying, look, I want you to get what I feel. So I tried to be very real and honest in the book.
Yeah, and I love the book. I read it. My son read it. We both laughed at really funny moments, especially with the Doberman part chasing you. We we got a really good laugh about that. We've cried at times when we felt the emotion of what you were going through, and it was a book that is real. Like, it doesn't sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna pre-warn people. You do use some heavy wording sometimes, but that's the beauty of it. It is very real. You don't sugarcoat it. You say it as it is, which puts the reader, into the perspective of what you are going through and what you're living. So the first bicycle challenge was a success. The social media exposure was a success. The book was a success. And then you decided to do an even more challenging ride, taking to raising more awareness, gathering more funds for research. How was this second ride? And were you more prepared for it? Do you expect things to go right? Do you expect things to go wrong? Like, how was it?
The second one was definitely, I think, a harder challenge on me mentally. The first trip, I was like, I have to physically try to do this. Will my body allow me to physically ride my bike that far? The second trip, I okay, I knew I could do that and I could ride another 1,400 miles, but I was more prepared. But I kind of liked going into the first one stupid and just being like, okay, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to give it a shot. Where the second one, I had to go in saying, okay, I know what I'm in for. I know there's going to be 100-degree days. I know I'm going to have flat tires. I know we might have a hard time finding a place to camp. And, that. So I think the second one was harder anxiety wise. I fought anxiety a lot more. And, oh my God, in 2 days, I'm going to have to go over this mountain pass that I see on the map. And, I would start getting anxious. And so I'd have to bring myself down, where the first one is just like drive flat through the Midwest and, just get there. You go over rolling hills and you eventually get there. Where this, I had to go over probably 6 or 7 mountain passes that were over 8,000 feet. And there was multiple 100-degree days, which I don't do well in heat and sun.
Yeah.
So that's really difficult. So you have to take more breaks. So, I kind of knew how to manage my physical stuff, but the mental stuff was tougher. We bought a van, this time, instead of renting a brand new van that we knew was reliable, we bought a van and it broke down twice on us. Then every day, that's an added stress. Is the van going to get through the day? And so like just little things like that were different from the first trip was a challenge. It was just anxiety filled, I would say.
Was she called the blue whale?
The blue whale, yep. And I'm just stupid. It's like it was kind of fun. It's a really big van. It's a huge hunk of metal. And, I super glued a glow in the dark skull on the hood, and we started putting stickers on the back from the towns we went through, and it's become the On the Vertigo vehicle. So it'll be around. People in my neighborhood now, they see it all the time, and they know, oh, there's Steve, because he's got the big on the
The
Vertigo.
blue whale. Yeah.
So it's
Steve,
running great.
something that I noticed this time around. So the first trip that you did, you put bits and pieces in social media, and it was mostly like updates. With this second trip that you did, I could see that you were doing your updates, but I could see there were moments where, as you mentioned, you were getting frustrated, anxious, and overwhelmed because of flat tires, heat, the van breaking down, a lot of things going against you as per se, and you put in multiple posts. You said, I don't know if I want to do this. Maybe I should turn around. Maybe you know what, forget this. And there were moments where I kept saying, you know what, Steve, the world's watching you. Stay hard, no complaining, go for it. So part of me felt your pain, and I felt if he wants to quit, it's the right thing to do. He can quit. But part of me was like, I'm not going to let you quit, because whether you like it or not, Steve, you're an icon. And an icon is an icon of hope. Many people that are at home permanently because of these conditions, they cannot work anymore, they can no longer live their lives. They live their lives through you and through your challenges. So I was like, it's a bit unfair to you, because it puts these unnecessary expectations of people's dreams onto you, that you have to kind of fulfill things, even though you might be struggling and suffering. So I felt bad at times saying, stay hard. You know what? No excuses. Just keep going. But I kept trying to give you tough love to encourage you. How do you feel knowing that you were having anxiety, panic attacks? You were feeling the symptoms of the dizziness, the vertigo, but you also had this expectation and this quote unquote moral duty to finish this so other people could see you get to the finish line.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's like, am I just on suicide missions? It's like, personally, it's like, why, this is something my wife and I talk about often. She's like, well, what are you getting at? It's like you want to torture yourself for some reason. And it's not really that. I just want to inspire people and show them that you can do hard things still with a chronic illness, and it may not be fun. I'm not going to make myself sicker by doing a bike ride. I'll just be sick there instead of here, so here's the thing that I was thinking about yesterday when I knew I was coming on today, that I do these trips, and then I have people on social media saying, thank you, this is great," like you following and just saying, "Stay hard," and people encouraging me and encouraging me. And you would think that I would just feel all the accolades, and I would be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing so much good stuff for so many people, and they're watching and they're inspired and they're excited about my book and they're excited I'm going to do another ride and stuff." But when it comes down to it, I still live very lonely. I don't. I love getting all that feedback, negative and positive, from people, and I love seeing what the effect my trips are having. But I don't I just don't have the capability to bask in it or feel special or feel like I'm doing anything great. It's just like, at the end of the day, I still have to be miserable. I still have to go to bed and try to get enough sleep so I can go walk my dog the next day. And it's like, I realize all around the world that On the Vertigo has become a brand, and if people hear On the Vertigo, they equate it with me and my book and my trips, and it's out there. But for me, I still feel like I'm in a very, very small, closed, isolated world in my own space. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense, Steve, and especially because everybody sees the struggle and the glory of the bicycle ride, but it's almost like everybody forgets that you're still a human, that you're still suffering for many years, that you're still a father, that you're still a husband, and that you have to deal with the aftermath of these trips. Like
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
you've gone into hibernation or recovery mode for a few weeks because the extent and the exertion that you did during this trip and the mental focus that you had to have not to fall from your bicycle and get run over by a car in the highway, it takes a lot of out of you. Like it takes
Yeah.
a lot for you to get back to be the father that you want to be, the husband you want to be, the dog owner you want to be, the human being that you want to be, the man that you want to be. So I do believe that I do understand why you say you feel alone at times, because yes, you created this beast of a movement, but at the end of the day, Steve is still a human being with feelings, with emotions, with symptoms, with expectations, with dreams. And people are not seeing that second part of you. They just see the glory of On the Vertigo, but they are not seeing the rest of what's happening behind the scenes type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember something you said that once, and it was like, I still have symptoms. It's like, I've seen videos of you and your wife dancing, and people see that and they're like, "Oh, he's doing so great now. He must feel so good." "Oh, I'm watching Steve ride his bike, so he must be doing good." But no, it's the symptoms are just ever present. They're just always there in one form or another. It's still, like you said, it's like that. It's never ending torture, and people, it's hard to get that across. It's hard to put that into words, I guess is what I'm saying, so that people understand. But I don't, somebody the other day online is just like, "Oh, Steve's a hero," and I'm just like, no. I appreciate the compliment and I'm glad I inspired that person, but in my head, I'm so far from being someone to look up to. I lay on my couch all the time. I rest all the time. I don't do a whole lot. For that 1 month, yeah, I bang it out hard, and then it takes me a month to recover. But then I go back to just being a couch potato. So
But Steve, again, whether you like it or not, you, in a sense, you are a hero because you're accomplishing things that even normal, healthy people don't dare to do because they're like, screw that, I'm not gonna do that.
yeah,
So you are that beacon of hope that many people need in order to say, hey, maybe I'm not gonna ride a bike like a Steve, but maybe I can go for a walk. Maybe I can sit in my garden today. Maybe I can sit down by the window and read a book. So you are a hero in the sense of actually in the freaking sense of being a hero. Like you're saving people from the monster that chronic illness creates in our minds. And by the way, you have a kitty cat friendly coming behind you to say hello to the interview.
Pat,
uh, uh,
there she is.
Okay, so we're back at it. So let's say, so the first bicycle ride was a challenge, but a success. Then you wrote a book about it. Now you did this bicycle challenge, also a success. Is there another book coming to discuss everything that happened in the second trip?
Possibly, possibly. And I get that question almost daily on social media. People will be like, yo, I just finished your book and I just watched your second trip. So when's the book coming out? When's the new book coming out? Um, that's something I'm working on in the back of my head. I'm still not sure how to make it as interesting as the first one. I covered a lot of information about myself in the first one. I covered a lot of stuff about Meniere's disease in the first one. Of course, I covered the whole bike ride. So, there could be a book in the process. It's possible that there'll be another book, but it'll have to look different. I don't know what format I could write it in that would make it that interesting. But we'll see. We'll wait. The jury's still out. One
Yeah,
exciting
I,
thing, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I hope you do the right one because the first one was so moving that I'm definitely positive the second one will be as good, if not better, because you have this ability to, excuse my language, to no bullshit people, but actually say it
Me.
as it is. So yes.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to be real. That's for sure.
Steve, now, something else that you also accomplished recently is that you made on the Vertigo an actual non-for-profit charity. What's the purpose of it? How difficult was it to get it? And how is that going to influence the next movements into the future, like the next steps? What's next?
Well, it was a lot of paperwork and it was a lot of hard work. You all know Dave, my brother. He's my right-hand man and he's healthy, but he's kind of taken on the cause because of my illness. He's, quit his jobs just to basically help me out. And we decided to try to turn it into a nonprofit so that we could get more awareness and get more funding. And, people will only give to a GoFundMe so many times. It's just,
Yes.
we can't just say, hey, we're just going to have a GoFundMe all the time. It's ridiculous. And we were like, if we could become an official nonprofit, we could give tax deduction write-offs and stuff like that and go after bigger corporate dollars and grants.
Yes.
And it legitimizes what's in my head, which is the awareness and raising money for awareness and funds for research. And so it kind of legitimizes. It is just one more step that it just blew up and got bigger than we ever expected with the first bike ride. I thought I'd just be done, park my bike, and nobody would even know who I was. And here I am now. I have my own nonprofit, and so far it's good. The website is onthevertigo.org, all one word, so you can look it up. And there's a couple things that are still under construction, a couple little things, but Dave has spent, and our tech friend Jeremy, they've been working on it, and I think it's really good. I'm really proud of the website, and you can see every video from all my trips. You can find resources, other things that link to find out other information. And, so if people find my nonprofit website and they're new to a chronic illness or a vestibular disorder and they're looking for hope, there's places they can click and it'll send them to bigger and better things. I'm not a doctor. I don't have answers. I don't know how to fix myself, much less anybody else. But I'm hoping that the nonprofit and the website will be a platform for us to spread the awareness and help people and give them resources. And they can just watch the dumb videos we've done, and see what we're about.
Yeah. And Steve, speaking of all of that, you are actually kind of a big deal because whether you like it or not, you are one of the blessed people that got chosen to be part of the live Rebalance Chronicles by the Vestibular Disorders Association. How was that experience? Do you feel that the videos that we did together for that project will have the impact that we wanted to have? And how do you think we could get that impact? Or how can we get those videos out there for the world to see?
Well, first of all, you can go to onvertigo.org and they're all there. So all
Good.
6 of them listed. You can just click and watch each episode. So that I'm trying to do my part to, you know, if people go to my website, they, you know, one of the options is to watch all those videos. And I know a lot of people that were in the documentary are doing their own little things trying to get it out there. First of all, I think I have to thank you for me even being a part of that, because I think it was because of you and the producer Kimberly. I think you brought me up as someone that might be willing to be in the Life Rebalance Chronicles. So thank you for that, because you gatewayed me into that, and then the
Well,
experience there was just awesome.
I think Kimberly has such an eye for people that can make such a positive impact that I think she just, even before me bringing you up or mentioning you, I think Kimberly already had in mind the people that she wanted to be part of this project. So
Yeah.
I actually think that all the praise should go to Kimberly, because she was the one that handpicked us to be part of such a big movement and such an incredible experience.
Yeah, I think she's the backbone that made it so special. I mean, we got to share our stories, me and you, and you know the other cast members. We all got to share our stories, but Kimberly had to live our stories in a way that it explained it correctly. And
Yeah.
you know, like I said earlier, it's really hard to put into words what we go through. And I think every cast member did a great job explaining the realities of having a vestibular disorder. So, but Kimberly, I don't know. I can't. I could talk about her for days. She's kooky. She's funny. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. She's just flat out one of my favorite people on the planet. And she's busy with all these projects, but she always takes the time to respond to my texts. And we make fun of each other, and we're goofy, and she knows I'm silly. And the thing that was crazy and kind of cool about the process of being in Life Rebalance Chronicles is that none of us have met face to face. I mean, we're satelliting all around the world, and you know, just like right now, I'm in Colorado. You're up in Calgary, I think.
Yes.
It's still the same painting over your shoulder, so I don't think you moved. But that also put an added twist, because it wasn't like Kimberly was coming to our house with a film crew, and it wasn't like me and you and Dave and Sue and Lynn and everyone were sitting in a room together. You know, we're doing this all separately. But the fun part about that is that we could really mess with Kimberly, because since she didn't have us all together, we could kind of, you know, we pulled some pranks on her because she has no idea what we're all doing. So, you know, I think I've talked to her on the phone once, but everything else has been texts and emails. And so that was just a fun kind of twist to the way that Kimberly had to make it. And I think it made it fun for us too, because I'm sure she was always wondering what's going on behind the scenes with these guys. You know, I'm getting these little videos, you know, and so I kind of was the troublemaker of the group, the class clown, and I just like, I had fun. I tried to make it fun for her, you know, because I know how hard she was working on this project. So
She got you. She made a teaser video with you. I think
we got
hilarious.
really good. We got she got me a couple times really, really good, where I don't know, she made a teaser video that was just for me, and I thought it was for everyone, and it made me look stupid. It made me look like a jackass, and I'm watching this thing and what is she doing? You know, this doesn't even make sense. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, she's put some time and effort into just making me look like a jackass. But it was just
hilarious.
and then I had you email her and say you were going to quit the document, and she freaked out, and then you double agented on me. So it was just fun. We've become a family, you know, and we've still, you know, I mean, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but if all of us in the documentary could get together in the same room, I think it would be very special.
I think so too. Steve, what does the future hold for Steve now?
Well, the one exciting thing is before Christmas, we're coming out with a hardback version of the book. It's a special edition hardback copy where all the pictures in there are all color. Like it'll be all
Nice.
the photos, and they look so much better than the black and white. But we just couldn't afford to do a color version, and now we can. So we're going to release a hardback, hardcover color version special edition of One Sick Man's Journey. So we're working on that right now, and I'm working with our editor and stuff in Ohio to get that taken care of. But that I'm excited about. We're reaching out to some organizations to try and get some funding for our nonprofit so that, we're kind of at the very beginning, and we've already got some donations coming in. But after Black Friday and after Cyber Monday is Giving Tuesday. So right now I'm kind of trying to get the word out that On the Vertigo is a nonprofit now. And if you want to donate to us as Giving Tuesday, then that'd be much appreciated, but I'm not a doctor, and I'm also not somebody that wants to go beg for money. I hate doing that, but I'm hoping that we can start getting some funds in, and then we can turn the nonprofit into being profitable for the community. That's another thing. Now, is there another book coming? We'll see. Is there another bike ride coming? I don't know. That last one kicked me up pretty good. It was hard, and
If you want to coordinate into the Canadian edition, I may tag along.
okay, yeah. I think if we could have anything we wanted, like if we had a dream list of in a perfect world, I think Dave and I would like to do a UK trip. I think that would be really cool, and I think that would be different. I've already done 2 US trips, and maybe a Canada trip someday. But a UK trip is just like weighing on us, kind of like, how do we do that? How do we pull a UK bike trip off? Because there's a lot of people in the UK that follow On the Vertigo, and it would just be really cool to see. It'd be like the book. If I do another book, it's got to be kicked up a notch. I can't ride to California again. People will be like, whatever, I can't ride to Ohio. But if I rode through the UK, it would kick everything up a notch. So in a perfect world, I'd like to pull that off, but we'll see. That'd take a lot of time and planning and money and stuff. So
Yeah, I think that focusing on still growing on the Vertigo as a brand will be key. Will be key for those kind of plans to become a reality. I think making the brand more visible, more that people see it and they understand what it means. I think that will allow you the opportunity to gather more funds, gather more media coverage, gather more followers on social media pages. So yeah, I think that'd be great. Steve, where can people find you? So you mentioned the website, and I'll add the link in the description of the video. Where else can people find you?
Okay, the website's just onthevertigo.org, and it's just a normal website. You can just Google. We're also on Facebook at Meniere's On the Vertigo, and then on Instagram it's just On the Vertigo, one word, and that's where you can find us and find the stuff I post and everything like that. So that's pretty much it. Just On the Vertigo. If you type it in, hopefully it leads you to me somehow. So
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to find right now. I think it's not that difficult to find anything on the Vertigo if you look for it.
Can people buy the book of your website?
Absolutely. There's just a click and buy, and you can buy it. There's on our Facebook. There's a place you can go click, and it'll take you right to Amazon. And then the website also has a click and buy. So you click on it, it takes you right to the book on Amazon. So
Nice.
it's easy to get a hold of the book. And
Yeah, that's good. And I recommend it, highly recommend it. It's a great book for sure. Steve, as you know, channel is called Find Your Chappiness. How does Steve find his chappiness?
I knew this was coming. So last time you caught me off guard. And I had a great answer to that earlier, but I forgot it. So let me think. I had a really good answer. I think now finding my chappiness is different than what it was a year ago. A year ago I was just planning this On the Vertigo stuff. The first time we talked, I had just finished my ride, but hadn't got the book out yet. And it was all just a thing. I'm finding my chappiness now through the last year. It's changed so much because during my first bike ride, it was just Meniere's disease and what I deal with. But in the past year, through Life Rebalanced Chronicles and through meeting other people, doing other podcasts, my vision has blown up to where it includes the whole vestibular community now. And that makes me really happy. Meeting people with maldebarkment and, meeting people with vestibular migraines, which I didn't know much about either of those before my trip. And so my whole understanding of chronic illness with the vestibular stuff has just grown super, super huge at this point. So my wife just came in and made fun of me. So hang on a second. So that's connected me to this bigger world that I didn't know existed before. And it's even gone to even bigger things like the Enabled Disabled podcast, which Gustavo does, which is all things disability. And so now, instead of just being in my little Meniere's world, it went to the vestibular world, and now it's just went to the whole disabled community, and realizing that, there's people that are paralyzed that have to deal with the same emotional stuff that I do with what I have. It's a worldwide thing that for people to become aware that there's people out there suffering and they need sympathy. So I think I'm just happy to have found that new world. The world just opened up to me in a big way.
And my last question to you, Steve, for people that are struggling right now, people that are maybe starting on their journey, or people that have been on their journey for many years and they still haven't been able to find something that allows them to control the symptoms or live a more normal life, and they feel devastated inside, what would you like to say to those people?
Number one, you're not alone. Number two, don't give up. You've spoke about having suicidal thoughts. I've had suicidal thoughts. There's times where I'm just like, I just can't do this another day. And it's sad. And so, but there's hope, and there's people out there that get it. It might take a little energy. It might take a little bit of getting on the computer and finding a group that helps you, or the right doctor that helps you, or just don't give up and keep, like I said the last time I was on, advocate for yourself, because there's going to be a lot of misunderstanding from people around you, family, friends, co-workers. I mean, it's enough just to make you go mad. So believe in yourself, stay hard, don't give up. We're out here. Contact me on my website, contact me on my Facebook. People call me, somebody will text me and be like, I know you're really busy, but I just wanted to thank you. And I'm just like, busy? I'm laying on my couch all day. Text me anytime, I mean, I think because On the Vertigo has gotten so big, and, like Find Your Chappiness it's a big brand now. And people think that, oh my God, he's probably just got so much stuff going on. No, I don't. So, take care of yourself. I take care of myself by resting a lot, and I spend a lot of time on my couch. So I'm always available, if you want to reach out to me.
Awesome. And Steve, remember that we only live once, and we gotta make the best that we can out of what we have, because I've learned that life can change in a second, like it changed for you and for me, but we also have many things to look forward to. You have a beautiful family that supports you and love you, a wife, a son, a brother that takes care of you, that supports your dreams. You have a cat and a dog that want to hang out and spend every living minute of their lives with you. So let's keep in focus, Steve, that although we have a lot to deal with, we're very blessed at the same time.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to be sick. I cry a lot, I'm like,
oh yeah, me too.
And I think it's because it's just so hard to live this way that my brain doesn't have a filter for a lot of my emotions. And so, tears are always like just this far away, and it can happen. And it's not that I'm sad. My body's just like releasing that. And so, it's accept the fact that it's okay just to be sick. I mean, if it's not the end of the world, you just you learn to deal with it and move on.
Yeah, I'm giving you a virtual hug right now. I
Perfect.
got you.
I
All right.
appreciate, and I think you're
Well,
awesome too. And thank you for having me on, chap.
no, it's been a pleasure. I always enjoy our conversations. You're someone that not only is a friend but very close to being considered family. So thank you, Steve. I appreciate it, and we chat again soon.
We'll keep in touch for sure. I'll be bugging you. I'll be
All
bugging you.
right, be good.
All right. Take care now.
Okay, bye bye.